For my next example, I have a brand new set of data, so I do need to start over with the whole regression process. If I were you, I might have the first page of our notes, this page with all of the screens out while I go over things, just so that you can reference it, because at some point you will have to remember all of the buttons to push by yourself. It's honestly not that many buttons that you have to remember, but the more you practice it, the easier it does get. So in this example, we have the number of Netflix subscribers in the United States for various years since 2007. So I know that in 2007, there were 7.48 million subscribers to Netflix, and that number just keeps growing as the years go on. My job now is to find a linear equation, S of t, that best models the number of subscribers in terms of years since 2000. So I go back to my calculator. I still have the example up from the previous work that we did. So I'm going to hit this clear button. And then again, just good practice is to clear your calculator totally before you get started. So second plus 7, 1, 2. I get this cleared message, so I'm good to go. And now I get to type in my data. So to do that, I hit my stat button. I hit enter for edit. I'm going to type the years in L1 and the number of subscribers in L2. Remembering that I want to focus on the years since 2000. So I know that this says 2007, but I'm only going to type in the number 7 since 2007 is 7 years later. For 2009, I would type in the number 9. 2012, I type in the number 12, and so on. Oh, I made a mistake. See how I typed in 12 and 13 into the same column? So I'm going to hit clear here. I'm going to scroll up, hit clear, and I'm going to retype in my number 12 and then hit enter. Then in the next one, I type in 13. Okay, so I'm going to double check 7, 9, 12, 13, 16. In my calculator, 7, 9, 12, 13, 16. Perfect. Then over in L2, I type in my bottom row. Okay, so I double check my work, make sure that my L1 and my L2 are totally lined up. I don't have something missing or something extra. I should be good to go there. From there, remember, I hit second y equals so that I can turn this first plot on. So I hit enter, enter again, and then I'm just now going to make sure by hitting second y equals that that plot is actually on. Then to get a good graph of those dots, I hit the zoom button and then number 9 for zoom stat. And there are my data points. Now to get the actual regression equation, I hit the stat button again. I go over to calc. Number 4 is my linear regression. I hit enter all the way down. Actually, I'm going to show you on this one how to store it. So if you go up to this store regression equation, we can hit this vars button. We go over to yvars, hit enter for function, and enter for y1. And now we see a y1 show up there. I'll hit enter and give you the equation, but after that I'll show you kind of what that does for us. Now we have our equation. We can write it down. So it's in the form ax plus b, where I'm given the value for a and the value for b. So I'll write that down. S of t equals, pulling up my calculator again, 4.893. And then instead of the variable x, I have the variable t. Then my y-intercept is negative 28.815. So minus 28.815. The reason that I did that storing step, though, is so that we don't have to type this equation into our calculator now. If we go to our y equals, we'll notice that the equation is already there, not rounded or anything, so it's actually a lot more exact. So if you didn't store it, that's fine. Go ahead and just type this equation that we wrote down into your y1. But then when you're done, hit graph, and you'll see your data points and the line that goes through. So it's an okay line of best fit. It goes through a couple of the points, not all of them, but again, we're just using this to get a model of the data, and it doesn't have to be super exact right now. So now using this equation to answer some questions, part B says using correct units, explain what the slope of the equation represents in the context of the situation. My slope is this first number here. So 4.893 is representing some sort of change. That means that for each year after 2000, the number of subscribers increases by this many million. So let's write a good sentence for that. Each year past 2000, the number of Netflix subscribers increases by 4.893 million per year. Part C, now I answer the question, according to your model, how many US subscribers did Netflix have in 2014? This is a year, and it is 14 years since 2000, so I'll plug in the number 14. Okay, so if I wanted to use my calculator, I totally could by hitting second trace, number 1 for value, and then typing in 14. And I get 39.68. We're going to round that number to 6. And let's put a unit on this. This is million subscribers. Part D says, according to your model, how many US subscribers will Netflix have in 2050? I'm going to show you a different way to do this one because we've practiced our calculator quite a bit now. So I'll plug in the number 50. And on this one, I'm just going to do order of operations. So if I go back to my calculator, I can hit clear. Don't worry, your data is still all saved. But I'm just going to type this half of the equation into my calculator. 4.893 times 50 minus 28.815. And I get 215.835. And again, that's million subscribers. I don't necessarily care which way you choose to do it. Pick one that you like better and go that way. For part E, according to your model, when will the number of subscribers reach 20 million? So now I know that the number of subscribers is 20 million, so I'm going to plug in 20 for the Y value. Okay. I'll use my calculator on this one. So I'll go back to y equals. My equation for the regression is still there, but then in y2, I'll type in the number 20. I'll hit graph, and there's my line going straight across for 20. Now my job is to find that point of intersection by hitting second trace, number 5 for intersect, and then we move our cursor, our little blinky dot, to the point of intersection and hit enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And we get that the x value is 9.977. And that's a year since 2000, or I should say years after 2000. Part F is very similar. We're also given a number of subscribers, 125 million. Again, I'll show you a different way to do this one. You pick whichever way you prefer. Instead of using my calculator this time, I'm just going to practice solving this linear equation, so getting t by itself. So I can add 28.815 to both sides. And then if I need my calculator, that's totally fine because I have it. So I'll type in 125 plus 28.815, and I get 153.815 equals this 4.893t. Again, we're still trying to just get the t by itself. Using my calculator now, I'll divide that by 4.893. So divided by 4.893, and I get 31.436. 31.436 years after 2000. Again, if you prefer just using your calculator and finding the point of intersection, that's totally fine. This is just one other way to do it.